I was still chewing a bite of burger when my dad stood up from the couch and barked, "How could you be so selfish?" Just like that. No warning, no lead in, just those words out of nowhere. His face was red, neck tight, pacing like he'd been sitting on that sentence all night just waiting to unload. My name's David Kerrigan. I'm 44 years old, live in Spokane, Washington, and I own a mid-size HVAC business, built it from nothing over the last 15 years. I've never missed a family trip to the lake cabin in North Idaho. Every summer, same routine. Grill some burgers, crack a few beers, sit around pretending we're still a tight-knit family. This Sunday was supposed to be no different, but apparently, the plan was always to corner me. Before we dive in, quick note. Tell me which city or country you're watching from. I set my plate down and looked at him. What are you talking about? He waved one hand like he couldn't believe I had the nerve to play dumb. Erica told us about the coaching business. She needs help getting it started, and you're just sitting on your wallet. I blinked. Wait, what? Don't act like it's such a surprise, he snapped. You're doing fine, David. You can help. You always help. I glanced over at my mom, then at Erica, who suddenly found something real interesting in her fingernails. My stomach dropped. They had all talked about this already. I wasn't part of the conversation. I was just the expected ATM. I just paid the property taxes on this place, I said. $9,200. That was last week. Don't change the subject, he said, pointing at me now. This is about family. Erica needs help, and you're acting like she's some stranger off the street. I pushed my chair back and stood up. I've been covering the taxes for 5 years. New roof last spring, that was me. Remember Mom's surgery? I helped with that too. Dad scoffed loud. So what, you want a medal? We all pitch in when we can. No, I said, heat rising in my throat. You all expect me to pitch in. Every time. And none of you even say thank you. Mom folded the napkin in her lap, real careful, not saying a word. Erica still wouldn't look at me. I grabbed my keys off the counter. I'm not the bad guy here. I just showed up for a burger and got hit with a guilt trip. Dad followed me halfway to the door. You owe this family, David. Don't you walk away. I didn't answer, just walked out and slammed the screen door behind me. Inside, the place was dead quiet. Erica sat stiff on the couch, flipping through her phone like it was the most interesting thing in the world. Mom stood at the sink, rinsing dishes she'd already washed. And then I saw it. Right there on the coffee table, half tucked under a pile of Sunset magazines, was a navy blue folder. Some kind of legal document was poking out. I could only read part of it at first, but the words were clear enough. Trust agreement, beneficiary, Erica Kerrigan. I stepped over, pulled it out without asking. The weight of it hit me before I even opened it. Dad noticed too late. Don't touch that, he snapped, rushing toward me. I flipped the first page, and there it was. $375,000, set aside in a trust for Erica. No mention of me, not one word, not even a footnote. Everything went quiet in my head, not rage, not grief, just a sudden cold clarity, like finally realizing the floor you've been standing on for years was never real. I didn't even look at them when I spoke. You created a trust fund for Erica? Dad froze in the middle of the room. That's private. I just paid $9,000 in taxes on this place, I said, holding the document up. And there's been a $375,000 trust sitting here the whole time? He tried to wave it off. Erica's had a rough few years. So have I. My voice cracked from how hard I was holding it back. You think running a company through COVID was a walk in the park? You think watching you recover from surgery and still covering the bills was easy? You've always managed, he said, voice quieter now. You didn't need help like she did. That line, I'd heard it before. Different versions, same theme. You've always been the strong one. You can handle it. Erica just needs a little help. Always excuses, always justifications. Mom finally spoke up. We never meant for it to be unfair. I turned toward her. You let me cover the taxes. You let me handle the roof last spring. You said nothing while I paid off Erica's car. You're the strong one, David, she said softly. You always have been. I laughed, couldn't help it, a short, bitter sound. Erica finally looked up, but didn't say a word, not to defend herself, not to deny it. I stepped closer, waving the trust document. So, what's this for? Real estate coaching? so she can build her business with money I didn't even know existed? Dad stepped between us, eyes narrowed. That's none of your business. She is my business if you're expecting me to bankroll her every time she changes careers. Nobody said anything. No one could. I dropped the folder on the table, looked around at all of them. My father glaring, my mom crying quiet tears, Erica staring blankly at the floor. From now on, I said, I'm done pretending any of this is fair. Then I turned and walked out, this time without stopping. I didn't turn on the radio the whole way back to Spokane. No music, no talk, just the hum of the tires and that trust document burned into my brain. I got home a little after 11, didn't even take my boots off. Walked straight into my office, flipped on the light, and sat down at the desk, where I've run my business for over a decade. Pulled open the file drawer, second folder from the left, labeled FAM contributions in all caps. It started as a way to track cabin expenses, but over the years, it turned into something else. A quiet, growing list of everything I'd ever covered: taxes, roof repair, HVAC overhaul. The irony on that one didn't escape me. Erica's Honda payments, Dad's CPAP machine, the Florida vacation they took last Christmas, even though I hadn't been invited. It was all there. Every check, every bank transfer, every invoice, color-coded and time-stamped. Call it a bad habit from running a company. I document everything. I opened my laptop and pulled up the spreadsheet. Took me until almost 2 in the morning, but by the time I was done, the numbers stared back at me in black and white. $119,840 out of my pocket, quietly, over the course of 9 years. And not once had anyone said thank you. I grabbed my phone and texted Ron DeSoto. He's my financial advisor. Helped me roll over my first IRA when I turned 30. M.E. You up? Need to talk. RON, for you, always. Call me. He picked up after the first ring. What's going on? I need a favor, I said. Family stuff. I've been covering expenses for years, and I finally added it all up. How bad? He asked. 119 grand. Long pause. Then, Jesus, David. I want this formalized. Verified. I want a report. Can you recommend someone? He didn't hesitate. Yeah, I'm texting you a contact. Kirk Mullins, forensic accountant, real sharp. I wrote the name down and emailed Kirk that same night. By the next afternoon, we were on a call going line by line through the records. He asked all the right questions, checked every document, pulled statements from my business account, and matched them to the dates. His voice stayed calm and professional, but I could tell he was stunned. At one point he said, "You do realize most families don't track this stuff, right?" I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Yeah, but most families don't dump their bills on one person and call it love. We spent 3 days going through everything. Cross-checked, triple verified, labeled every transfer. By the end, Kirk said he'd have a formal report ready within the week. Notarized, signed, bulletproof. After I hung up, I just sat there for a while. It wasn't even the money that burned the most. Not really. It was how natural they made it seem. Like it was my role, my obligation. Like I'd signed a damn contract at birth agreeing to pick up after everyone else. No questions asked. And they expected me to keep doing it forever. In silence. I stood up, walked over to the window, and stared out at the streetlights hitting my truck. Same one I'd used to haul lumber to the cabin. Same one I let Erica borrow when her transmission went out. It was time to shut the damn faucet off. The next morning, first thing I did was log into my accounts and start shutting it all down. Erica's car payment? Canceled. Cabin utilities? Gone. HOA dues for that overpriced lakeside mess? Done. Felt like taking a fire hose to years of quiet resentment. The texts came in fast. Dad, did you forget about the tax bill? Erica, my car payment bounced. What's going on? Mom, please don't do this to your sister. She's trying her best. Not one of them said thank you. Not one asked if I was okay. Just pure entitlement, like I was late clocking in for my unpaid shift as family ATM. I didn't answer any of them. I just waited. Around lunchtime, Kirk emailed me the final report. Clean. Professional. Fully notarized. 73 pages of math no one could argue with. They got it the next day. By noon, the phone was vibrating nonstop. Dad, voicemail. You really went and did this? You mailed us a report? What is this? Some kind of threat? MOM, text. This isn't necessary. We love you. Erica, text. That's not even accurate. I didn't ask you to cover my car. I blocked them all. I wasn't in the mood to play referee anymore. I told myself years ago that I'd keep the peace for the family's sake. But peace built on silence isn't peace. It's pressure. And mine finally snapped. That Friday, they showed up. I got a call from the front desk at my building, my shop, the one with my name on the side in vinyl. Hey David, there's a Mr. Kerrigan down here. Says he's your dad. Also a woman and another guy. Should I send them back? No, I said. Tell them they can leave the building or wait for security. 10 minutes later, I checked the camera feed. Sure enough, Dad was at the front desk waving his arms like a toddler. Erica was off to the side texting. Some guy I didn't recognize was arguing with the receptionist. They were told to leave, and when they didn't, security showed up. Later, my cousin Ben texted me. Said he happened to be driving by and saw them getting escorted out. Ben, damn, didn't think you'd actually cut the cord. M.E., too late to pretend it wasn't frayed. I wasn't trying to make a scene. I just wanted it over. For the first time in years, my inbox was quiet. No bills, no fake emergencies. No vague guilt trips wrapped in, "you're the strong one," compliments. Just silence. And I finally realized how much peace that could hold. 3 days later, my phone rang again. Ricky this time, my dad's nephew. Always been a floater, not loyal to anyone, but never causing drama either. Hey, just giving you a heads up, he said. There's a family meeting at the cabin next weekend. Family meeting? He hesitated. Yeah, sounds like they're trying to corner you into resuming the payments. Taxes, utilities, you know. All that. I lean back in my chair. So, it's an ambush. Basically, he said. They don't know I'm calling. Don't tell them I didn't promise anything. But I did decide something. I'd go. Not to argue, not to yell, just to bring the receipts. I pulled out the same file I'd given Kirk, spent the next hour building out a presentation folder, clean printouts, spreadsheets, scanned checks, transaction records, and a copy of the trust agreement with Erica's name highlighted. I printed 9 full copies, one for every person I knew would be in that room, slipped each into a binder, labeled them with masking tape and a Sharpie like I was prepping for court. This wasn't about revenge, it was about clarity. They wanted a meeting? Fine. But I wasn't coming empty-handed. That weekend couldn't come fast enough. I pulled up to the cabin 10 minutes early, parked in the same gravel spot I've been parking in since I was 17, and grabbed the presentation folder box from the passenger seat. 9 binders. One for each person I knew would be sitting in that living room pretending this was a family meeting and not a damn ambush. When I stepped inside, my dad was already mid-sentence, standing by the fireplace like he was giving a TED Talk on betrayal. And after everything we've done for David, he just cuts us off, like he's above the family now. I didn't say a word, just walked in, set the box on the coffee table, and sat down in the middle of the couch like I owned the place. He kept talking, loud, dramatic, looking around the room for agreement like a politician on a campaign trail. You don't just abandon your responsibilities to your own blood, he said, pacing in front of the fireplace. Not when we've always had each other's backs. That was my cue. I opened the box, pulled out the binders, and started stacking them on the table. Since we're talking about obligations, I said, my voice calm but sharp. Here's what I've contributed. In writing. Verified. He stopped mid-sentence. Silence swept across the room like someone had cut the power. I passed out the folders, one by one. Aunt Carol, Uncle Mark, Ben, Ricky. Even Erica got a copy. No one said anything. Just the sound of paper rustling as they flipped through page after page. Receipts, bank statements, canceled checks, spreadsheets. And at the end, the trust fund summary for Erica highlighted in yellow. Aunt Carol looked up first, confused. Wait, you paid for the roof. Ben nodded. I saw the checks. He paid for the last 3 years of property taxes, too. Uncle Mark raised his eyebrows. Hey, seriously? I didn't look at my dad. I looked straight at the rest of them. $119,840 in direct contributions, another $14,700 in investment losses from money I diverted out of my own retirement accounts to cover family expenses. "Is this real?" Carol asked, flipping back a page. "Notarized by a forensic accountant," I said. "Every penny is accounted for." Ben leaned forward. "Is this the same trust fund you found the other week?" I nodded. 375 grand, all for Erica, set up quietly, while I was covering her car payment and Dad's medical bills. The room shifted then, like the air got heavier. Erica stared down at the binder in her lap, not saying a word. My dad finally spoke. "This is family business. Not everyone here needs to know every detail." "No," I said, "but they do now. You made it their business when you tried to paint me as the villain." Uncle Mark slapped his binder closed. "If you've paid that much into this place, you should own part of the cabin." I didn't move, didn't nod, didn't argue, just let the math do the talking. My dad pointed a finger at me. "This isn't how family solves things." I met his stare. "No, this is how adults solve things. With facts, not manipulation." Nobody rushed to defend him, not this time. Aunt Carol looked over at Erica. "You knew about the trust?" Erica shook her head. "No, I didn't. Not the full amount. That told me everything I needed to know. She might have played dumb about the money before, but this was new to her too." She looked pale. Guilty, maybe. But I wasn't about to dig into that right now. My mom sat stiff on the love seat, blinking fast but saying nothing. I knew she wouldn't speak up. She never did. I leaned back into the couch and folded my arms. Let the silence drag. No one asked for the folder back. No one tore it up or called it fake. They just sat there, finally seeing what I'd been carrying all these years. 2 days later, I was in the office going through quarterly invoices when the email hit my inbox. Subject: Cabin Ownership Update. Legal Confirmation. From Slater and Franks, LLP. I opened it and sat back. Taxes, paid, deed, updated. I now legally own 25% of the family cabin. Erica had used part of her trust fund to settle the outstanding balance. No back and forth. No negotiation. Just the cold efficiency of a legal transaction. I scrolled down, half expecting a message from my dad. Instead, I got a text. "Dad. This wasn't necessary. Family helps family." That was it. No apology, no acknowledgement. Just more of the same guilt-wrapped nonsense I'd been hearing since I was a teenager. I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up again. Unknown number. I let it ring twice, then picked up. "Hey, it's me," Erica said. Her voice was quiet, not shaky, just still. I didn't say anything. Let her fill the silence. "I got the binder," she said. "I read everything." All of it, I waited. "I didn't know how much you'd actually done," she said, almost like she was confessing to a priest. "Dad always made it sound like you helped here and there. Not like that." I could hear her breathing on the other end, slow and uneven. "I'm sorry, David. I mean it. I'm not making excuses. I just didn't know." That landed heavier than I expected, not because I needed her to say it, but because it felt honest, like she'd finally looked past what Dad had been feeding her for years. She paused, then added, "I told him I want to split the rest of the trust. Down the middle. It's not right the way it was set up." I sat with that for a second. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't emotional. I was just done carrying things that weren't mine. "It's not about the money," I said. "It's about fairness." She exhaled. "I know." There was another pause. "You probably don't believe me," she said, "but I'm going to make this right." I kept my voice flat. "Start with the trust." She said, "Okay." No arguments, no defensiveness, just okay. We didn't talk much longer after that. No long goodbye, no fake promises about family dinners or holidays. Just one short call that finally cracked open something real. 1 week later, I walked into the shop and found a certified envelope waiting on my desk. Thick, official looking. Return address said it all. My dad's financial advisor. I opened it without sitting down. Inside was a letter confirming it. The trust fund had been restructured. Erica followed through. It was now split evenly, 50-50. My share was vested immediately. No waiting, no loopholes, no nonsense. A second envelope came from their lawyer. Same deal, straight to the point. My name was now listed as a 25% legal co-owner on the cabin deed. Erica and my dad held the rest. I set the letters down, closed my office door, and just sat there. Didn't move, didn't speak. And for the first time in years, I actually breathed. No texts, no voicemails, no guilt-tripping phone calls or surprise bills in my inbox. Just silence, clean, quiet peace. I wasn't bitter, I wasn't angry. I didn't need them to grovel or throw a parade. I just wanted the weight off. And now, finally it was. I picked up the phone and called Ron. "Let's double my retirement contributions," I told him. He didn't ask why, just said, "Done." Then I opened a new browser tab and booked a long weekend out of town. Nothing flashy. Small place in Bend, Oregon. No family history, no drama, no strings. Somewhere I didn't owe anybody a damn thing. That night, right as I was shutting off the lights, I got a text from Erica. "Erica, I hope we can rebuild someday." I stared at it for a few seconds, thumb hovering, then typed back, "Someday. But for now, I'm finally building something for myself." Sent. Put the phone down, and finally, let it all go.